Hey, good morning, everyone. My Sierra chart disconnected. Just came back up. Oh, well. How's everybody doing? Hey, Lear. Hey, AO. Good morning, good afternoon. All right. So much for the drama. That's over. How's everybody doing? What's up, Lear? How you doing? Oh, you're graduating? Good, good, good. I'm good. It's interesting market. Boy, it's interesting. Hey, Ronan. How you doing? Another day, another all-time high. Gosh. I mean, I'm running out of levels. I am running out of levels. This is crazy. I'm redoing some charts. I got a new chart book out. It's in the oh, it's in the Sierra section. Hey, Patty. Yes, in Globex. I mentioned that I asked my friend who had a big sell order if I could sell alongside. It's something we used to do. So, bingo. Exactly. Are you saying that all we need to do is to watch the offer, and that will tell when he is selling and when he or she, to be politically correct, is competing with other sellers? You've hit the nail on the head. Were your charts so simple that you couldn't see this back in 93? No, Patty. Yeah, you couldn't see it in 93. Do you know what 1993 computers looked like? Do you remember back in 93? There was something called Windows 3.1. You're wondering why I had to ask the seller permission? It's called manners. Manners, business etiquette. When you sit next to somebody on a desk and they get an order to sell 2 million shares, right? You're like, do you mind if I sell a few next to you? Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like a courtesy thing. Otherwise, it's just straight front running. It's an implied code when you work with people, right? He does you a favor, you do him a favor. No, you had to ask because it was polite to do so. Okay, it's like you're sitting next to somebody and somebody gives them a piece of cake that's a bit too big. And you're like, you mind if I have a piece? Do you kind of understand? It has nothing to do with the charting or the software. It has to do with common courtesy. His order creates the chart and allows me to trade alongside and make some quick money. I was trying, the point of what I was trying to say, Patty Lou, was that the offer is what you watch, and when the offer is moving lower, you sell with the seller because they're pushing price lower, so you hitch your little wagon to their car. The lesson I'm trying to show you is to watch the seller, and as they compete and move price lower, you know how I always say, watch the offer, watch the offer, watch the offer? Well, the thing is, Patty, I have to find different ways to try and teach people because people don't really know what I'm talking about. I'll tell people to watch the offer and then they'll go short and get trapped because they didn't know what the offer meant. Do you understand? So I'm just trying to show people that when a size seller enters the market, in the old days we would sell next to that seller. Right? Now that seller is represented by the red offer on the chart. So that's what I'm trying to teach. Right? Yeah, it was my friend would get a big sell order. Right? There, that's all it is. So the point of the lesson is to find a seller before you short. Patty, have you been in the room lately? Yeah, it's just another way of telling the story because unfortunately people don't get it the first time I explain something. So as an educator, I have to try and find ways to explain something that is insanely simple in different ways so people will get it. Because I've gotten a lot of messages about people getting trapped short when I told them that they would get trapped short. Right? That's all. So in the room, Patty, if you go into the ES room, right? I think you're still a member of the ES room, right? I outlined a trade that communicates exactly what I was talking about. And I put it step by step. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Yeah. Well, that's why I post stuff in there so you guys can learn. So maybe check it out. Here, I'll send you the message. Let me find you here. And I'll send you. Yeah, that's why we post stuff in the room. Yeah. I took the trade when I wasn't on a Zoom call. So I thought I'd write it up and detail and explain. And it kind of explains exactly what I was talking about this morning. I've sent it to you. Take a quick look if you feel like it. Hey, Nano, what's going on? Cool. Good. So now we are correcting inventory lower. Overnight inventory is about 90% long. It's finally sort of dripping lower, right? If we were to open here, we'd have a gap. What I'm trying to do, Patty, is I'm trying to explain things to people because it's a tough trading environment, right? So what I'm trying to do, however unsuccessfully, is I'm trying to keep people out of trouble and explain how they can take intelligent trades by, kind of giving them some sort of practical um, advice. It's a tough market to be a teacher in. It's probably one of the toughest markets I've ever encountered as an educator. So let's see if we can get inside the previous day's range. That would be what we're looking for next here, right? If we can come down and get accepted underneath this previous day high. Otherwise, we're going to have another gap, right? Definitely going to have another gap. Hey, Sandy, how are you? Oh, point of control move down. What do you mean I didn't roll? Lear, put down the Glenlivet. I know you're retired. We're on the Z contract, my friend. 6683. Is it going to be that kind of day? I think so, right? Okay. I I think you might have fried something, Lear. Oh, exactly, Nano. Ah, there have been a couple of trades. I mean, I took one decent trade today. Oh. What's up, Travis? How you doing? Yeah, so all I'm trying to say, folks, is when you're shorting, find a seller, right, and stay next to the seller. When the seller stops selling, stop shorting, right? That was the only trade I took today. I only took one trade. I took that trade on 5E minis, and that was done. It's not a lot of money, but it'll pay the phone bill, you know? Now I got to wait for a better trade. It's today and tomorrow. Ugh. Right? Contract rollover, Fed stuff. And what somebody said Friday is options expiry, which never really freaks me out. When was that decent trade of yours? It's in the trading room, VS Squad. That's why we have the room. So when we like take trades, like I outline why I saw the trade, why I took the trade, right? And the trade was based on basically I saw sellers here. I don't know what's wrong with this Stupid Epic pen, but it's not working now. Oh, it's weird. I saw sellers at 66.92, and when they started to get a bit aggressive and they came down here, I got involved just around this area. I hit out a few short, and when it dropped, it was actually right here. It was right here. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with this Epic pen thing. The pointer's not working. None of this is marking up anymore. I don't know what the hell's wrong with it. But I took the trade right here. I was short. My stop was where the white line is. I was short 90 and 3/4, and I put my buy orders down here, and so when it hit, boom, I got covered right away. Right. Yes, Sandy in Discord. Right. Yeah, it's a good week where it's worth waiting for A plus setups, and that's what I was trying to explain by taking that trade. It wasn't an A plus setup, but what I'm trying to do is trying to show traders how you can use simple information that you get off a 1 minute chart to actually make money. Right. Hey, Omen, how you doing? At least you made money on the wrong contract. Don't keep doing stuff like that, Lear. Uh, hey, whatever, man. How you doing? Oh yeah, shorts are still stuffed. And look, as we come into that, where's yesterday's high? 66.81 and a quarter. Now, also, guys, we didn't fill the gap. If you look at the new contract, there's the gap fill right here. There's yesterday's low. So my charts are still showing a gap. I'm going to ask a dangerous question now. Are you guys showing a gap? Okay, good, 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 good. Okay, so you are seeing a gap. Okay, cool. Good, good. Good, good. Looks like a little look below and fail of 66.85. Now remember, if you're doing the look below and fail, that inventory is above you. And why are you getting buying here? You're getting buying here because the gap. That's what creates the bids. You see? VWAP is right here at 86 and change. So we're going to open on a little bit of a gap. Let's see if it fills. Right. The trades are as follows. If the gap doesn't fill, the market is going to rotate back up to 87 and then 90. If the gap does fill, you'll look for these targets where the red lines are drawn down to the close. Okay? So those really are your trades off the open. $81 and quarter. Yesterday's high, Alexander, is here. See? 66.81 and a quarter. Right? We're going to open here, right? So if you open at 85 and yesterday's high is at 81, you're opening outside yesterday's range, which is a gap. What does a gap mean? It means change. What kind of change? Well, it means you can't get yesterday's prices today. That is the change in business. So you want to see if that change is a long-lasting change or just for today or for the afternoon or for the first 20 minutes. Right? Sierra's TPO is very detailed. I just put the new chart book in the Sierra section. In the charting section, I put the September chart book in there. We got a seller at VWAP. It might open real choppy, okay? It might open choppy. So just be aware of that. And if it starts chopping around, it'll probably chop between 82 and 87. People will come and bid that previous day high because they're short underneath it. Yeah, it's weird, that epic pen thing. It's strange. You can't even close it. Yes, you got to go to your task manager and close the damn thing, right? And we're off. So we open straight up, seller at VWAP. So at least if you short right now, where's your out? Right? If you're short, your out is 88. 88, 89, okay? And now what? If you're still short, what do you want to see? You want to see the offer come down, right? You're watching that offer. If it's not getting under VWAP, then you know you're in trouble, right? You want the offer to be under VWAP. So Patty, if you're still around, that's what you're looking for, right? You're looking to short it. You want the offer to be under VWAP, like it is now, right? Because now you've identified a seller. So you're short 86 and a quarter, like I am. Covered one at 84, and another one at 84 and a quarter. Let's see if it works now. Oh, good, it's working again, right? That's what I'm talking about when I'm saying you find the seller and you sell next to the seller. Once you identify that, it's like watch 85 and then watch the offer, right? If the sellers are present and competing, the offer will go lower, right? And that's all you need to do. Now, in a choppy market, it's hard to watch because it's jumping around. But in a slow market, like in Globex, that's a great time to do it, right? You just watch the offer and you sell alongside because that's what trading used to be, right? You look for a big buyer, you look for a big seller, and you hitch your wagon to their train, right? And at certain areas, you can anticipate there will be competitive selling. Do I have any experience with corporate rating? Not really that I can talk about. But I do love a good proxy bloodbath. Back up to VWAP. Let's see if we can get above it. If we can, we're looking for that upper area at 66.90. And there's that chop I was talking about, right? Let's see if we can get a gap fill. That's what I'm looking for now, right? We've got sellers at 86, 87. They're pushing lower. The shorts are coming in and covering. That's why you're getting this tug of war right here. You're getting this push-pull, right, between 82 and 84. Remember, the only inventory above us now is just from Globex. It's not like we have 2 or 3 days of inventory above 64.83. That's why it's not just collapsing, right? Is it going to fill the gap? I have no idea, right? That's why I'll let the larger traders work this area out before I take a trade. So it's going back and forth from that green to the purple zone. So when it's doing that, sit back, relax. Let the market figure out where the where the inventory is going to be priced right now, right? Here we go. See, as soon as it comes close to that 82 quarter, 82 psych, it stops and then it starts moving back up. If we stay in this area long enough, it'll go down and tag that 82, 82 and a quarter. Here we go. Right? A little bit of size right there. Right? A little bit of size covering. This is not enough for me to take a trade yet, though. Right? Because the order flow here, 6 ticks away from a gap fill, is really kind of unpredictable. Common sense says that we'll go and fill the gap. There, gap is filled. Okay, now do we fill the gap and bounce? There should be some responsive buying. If there isn't any, and we accept underneath the previous day's high, see if we could take out that 80 stop. It's climbing over the previous day high. Look to see where the sellers now step in. We can take out that stop at 79 and 3/4. There, we just took it out. That brought buyers in. Now look where they sell into it. Watch 81, 81 and a quarter. Right there. See how they sold into it? Did you guys see that? How the tops of the candles are getting lower. The offer is moving lower. So they are price competing. It's not a smooth process because there's so many people trapped short that they're all trying to compete and buy. That's why it's jerking up and down like this. There you go. So if you are short, go put in a bid and see if you get filled. Right? So if you're short a couple of contracts, go put in a bid here, go put in a bid here, go put in a bid. So the market does go down, it'll take you out of your trade and you'll be in a profit. Otherwise, what happens when it reverses and you haven't covered anything, you haven't paid yourself. Does that make sense? Now we're looking for 77. Right? And you can see that when we got back up here, there was a seller. Now wait, when the next candle opens, look at the top of the next candle. And that helps you when you're shorting, right? You're selling alongside the sellers who are price competing and pushing price down. Right? That's how you guys get that trend line. Yeah, be practical and pay yourself, right? Get practical, get paid. Right? There you go. Right? Put your buy orders in so when the market goes down, you get a fill. That way you're not scrambling at the last minute. This is an inventory correction trade. That's why I was short biased off the get-go, but I couldn't really do anything until I saw that seller come in at 85, 84, 83, 82. Does that make sense? It's really a simple way of, when you see a seller, you're just selling alongside that seller. When the seller stops selling, you cover your short. Right? That's all I'm trying to say. See how the seller stops selling at that level? The offer starts to move up. That's why I recommend going when you're short, go put buy orders in so when the market goes down, you get filled. Right? This way you get paid for your efforts. Now we're coming to this stop right here and the close, so there's going to be some responsive buying in this area right here. It did it? Bounced off that 66.76. That's Renee's balance zone, by the way. The balance zones on the left are courtesy of Renee this morning. Well done, Renee. Nice work. Oh, well done. Now, you should have taken if you were short 84, 83. take some profit, have a coffee. Let's wait for the next trade. I would really love to see. There's a couple of areas to the downside I'd like to get tested. One is the close. The other is that overnight low. And then you see right here, lately the low of M period, the last half hour before the close. I find that there's usually some good response down there. I only look at a gap as when it goes to. I only think of a gap, Dan, when it moves outside of the previous day's range. Now, some people use the close, some people use the prior close, right? So, for example, for me, if you have, like, here's yesterday, and then here's today, and here's the next day, I only count these as gaps because then it's a change of business. Yeah, 66, 668. Yeah, that's a good level. That's that M low, right? I'm really curious to see what's lurking down here for bids. Oh, goodness. Front running the close. Now, let's see what happens next. Gotta wait. Maybe a little chop between 76 and 79. Well, they're real enough for us, Dan. Like, so people will say they're not real bids, but if I was short 80 or 79 and we got to 75, the bids are real enough that they're going to buy up my cover, right? So I better get in there and price compete. Like, they're real enough for us. Now, if you're trading 10,000 contracts, they might not be real enough to take your 10K. You know what I mean? But for us, they're real enough that we can make trades off of them, right? It's a place to cover. Does that make sense, Dan? Hey, it's actually correcting down normally, right? This is the first normal inventory correction that we've had right off the get-go. Usually it takes about an hour and a half to correct inventory lower. Do you know why? because the new contract is overtaking the old one. So that rush to come in and do the covering now, if you go and look at what was I going to say? Dear God, I'm losing my mind. Right? I'll think of it later. It's been a long day. Sorry, guys. It's been like herding cats this week. It's been a tough week. So what I think is going to happen now is they're going to cover as much short as they can. Here's what you do. If you're looking for a responsive long, this thing's going to scrub back and forth between 74 and 80. Collect all that inventory and then go pop up and try and sell it over 82 to 85. If the short sellers see a bunch of selling, they'll drop their bids to the overnight low. What I was going to say, and I just remembered, is there was a huge rush to cover. There's that overnight low. I don't think the bids in RTH are going to be as strong now, right? We just hit the close. Just looking at that overnight low. And honestly, I think it would be healthy to come and trade down here and test out that 66, 63 area where the previous day low is, right? Because we have inventory trapped long above us now, finally. Now it's like getting back to a two-sided market, right? See, there's the overnight low. And we'll come right back down to the point of control from yesterday. That's where everybody's cost basis is in that M low. If we get back above the close, be careful on the short side. So if you're short, put some bids in, make sure you cover, right? You don't want somebody else getting your product, right? You're short 73, 72. Put some 70 bids in, my friends, right? Get paid, get paid, get paid. You can always hold a runner if you want, but a couple of points here, a couple of points there, it adds up. Right? There's a seller at the overnight low. That's good. That's healthy. Because usually we do the look below and fail of the overnight low. If we don't do that, that means we've actually got a seller or a group of sellers, and the sellers are competing, like I was saying. Right? Okay, once you creep back up over like a big reference like the overnight low, I didn't take the long off of that because I know that there's going to be sellers once we get to the close. And if there are no sellers, if we get to the close and it just rips right up above the close, that means we've cleaned out the market quite significantly. Right? It's hard to tell when a market's cleaned up after a liquidation. What you can do is you can use the levels to tell you whether or not the wholesalers need to sell above the level or underneath the level. So right now they need to sell underneath the close, right? Why do they? Because they have selling competition, right? You're not the only one selling. Everyone's selling, trying to get rid of their product, right? So if you do try a long here, you're looking good if it creeps up above 74 and a quarter, and then your target's going to be 76. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, you're a little early there, AZS. It's okay. You're just a little early. Let it kind of work itself out. Today and tomorrow, try and trade less, right? I'm not telling you guys not to trade. I'm just saying trade less and make your trades count, right? Don't worry. After tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, they'll go and shake the hell out of this thing. God knows what's going to happen with the Fed thing. But after that, things will start getting back to normal. And then we can start getting ramped up for for the last quarter, right? So it's this week of indecision. And this is one of the strangest rollover weeks with some of the most difficult trading I've seen in years. It really has been very difficult trading conditions. I mean, it's been good for learning, but it hasn't been easy learning. And it's been frustrating. People are really frustrated. I mean, I saw two traders on Twitter that I know, and they were like yelling at each other and screaming at them like, whoa, it's like a full moon or something. It's a little nuts. See, like this, I'm not interested in this at all. Right? There's some times where you got to be a price action snob, and you got to, you know what? I'll let these guys duke it out. Let's see if we can clean it out. Now, where's AZS? Let's see if we can get over 74 now. Right? Long again. Here we go again. Right? Remember, get your offers out, AZS. Right? Don't wait for an invitation to sell. Put them out at 75 and a half, 76, 75 and three quarters. Don't fall asleep at the switch, right? Here we go. Jeez. Don't worry. The price action's going to improve after the Fed. Gosh, I really hope they lower interest rates. Otherwise, everyone's going to be really pissed off. Oh. I think next contract rollover, definitely going to take the week off. Take a walk, right? Stopped out twice. That's what I usually do. I take 2 or 3 stop outs, usually 2, and then I get up, get away from the screen. What it's doing now, it's just vacuuming up all the contracts, right? We came right back to the cost basis, right? We took this stuff, we sold it up here all night, came back, stopped selling right where they bought it, and it's just going back and forth, and cleaning. So now we just got to wait. What do we got to do? Who are we waiting for? Right? Once again, practical, practical, practical. Who are we waiting for? We're waiting for more customers. Come in the store. Right? We're waiting for more order flow. Customers coming in the store. A period? That's excess. I've never used the term buying tail, but I guess it's an acceptable term, right? I don't know. It's not a poor low, that's for sure. It's not a weak low. Well, it is kind of weak because it's right at the point of control. There we go. A little bit more excess for you, Alexander. Coming down, remember I said that M low where everybody got trapped short going into the end of the day? That's it right here. Now, what's the next order of business? Don't take this the long way. The wrong way. But I'd like to see that previous day low get tested. There's some responsive buying. Where are the sellers going to step in? I see sellers at 70. It's okay if you're early, man. It happens. Right now it's a look below and fail of 66.70. So we're looking for 73. And if we can't get up to 73, look for rotation back down again. $66.38 would be nice. It would come and fill the single prints from 3 days ago. It'd be really nice to get some liquidation before tomorrow. A good liquidation is 5 points. Exactly. I'm looking forward to the liquidation. I'm not going to say when it's going to happen. I'm not a fortune teller. I'm just hoping for some liquidation. We get better price action when we liquidate. The sooner the better. Now what's going to be annoying is if we get back above the overnight low and rip all the way back up to 75. That would be really annoying. So let's get everybody short between 70 and 73, right? And then rip it to 77. Hey, Mark C. With the potential rate cut being priced in, will that factor into any liquidation? The only thing I know that factors into liquidation, Mark, is order flow. And right now I'm not seeing it. But I don't know, man. Those are questions that I can't, I do not try and presume to answer. You know? Like I said, a lot of people on Twitter and a lot of people in the financial universe, they totally are like crystal ball people. And that's cool. I respect that. And if you can do it and if you can do it accurately, all the power to you. I can't. I know my limitations. I'm a blue collar trader. I'm an executing trader. Right? That's all I've been my whole life is an executing trader. Where I excel, right? What I excel in doing is designing campaigns so we can sell 300 million shares of a stock over 18 to 36 months. That's my specialty, right? My specialty is taking stock, worthless stock, and turning it into hundreds of millions of dollars. That's my specialty, and that's everything I've done my whole life. So I don't try and I've never been a macro guy. I've never been an analyst, right? I'm a paper hanger, right? I help insiders sell their stock to you. And now I try and teach you guys how to trade with some practical common sense based on what I learned over 33 years. But the rest of that stuff, where it's going to be this and that and priced in and macro and all this stuff, like right now I can tell there's so much short covering right at the point of control that the liquidation that brought us down was a simple inventory correction. It wasn't panic selling. So I would really not want to short around here right now. I just want to see whether or not we can re-enter the overnight range. So everything I want to do and everything I try and do is practical, right? And simple. There's a seller at 71. There they are. That's my specialty. There's a seller at 71. So would I be buying 70? Would I know that there is kind of an aggressive seller at 71? See? So if I was shorting, I'd be shorting 70, using 71, 71 and a half, the overnight low as my stop. And where would I put my bids? Right here, right? No, what I meant, Omen, was when we got to 71, it's almost like somebody hit it and knocked it down. That's why I said there was a seller at 71. Right here, let me see if I can explain this. One sec. I gotta try and explain this. Okay. So if you have a level, okay, and the market goes down and comes back up to that level, and if you see it touch that level and all of a sudden get knocked down, right? All of a sudden get knocked down, or it creeps up just a tick or two and all of a sudden gets knocked down, like there's a reaction. That's the reaction you're looking for, right? Then you know you have a seller at that level, right? Does that make sense? So when I was looking at 71, I saw when we came up there, there was a seller. There was a seller. So that's why I wouldn't be buying 70, because I know that there is an aggressive seller at 71. Does that make sense for you guys? It's really simple, right? It's really simple. And that's how we used to trade before charts, because we didn't have charting software in the early 90s, right? You just had a level 2, and you'd see somebody on the offer, and you'd watch the tape and see if they were selling aggressively or not, right? It's a little late to short it, but I'm just trying to tell you that you maybe shouldn't be going long just yet, because we've had people going long and getting stopped out, right? And that's why, because we have sellers. And when sellers are competing, the offer is moving lower and lower and lower and lower because they're competing to get out. That's why you guys get a trend line. And remember what I said about 15 minutes ago? I said it would be I don't think it's crazy to come and test yesterday's low. And that's what we're doing. Now, what do we have down here? Right? You got a gap fill right here. What's going on? What's this? You're front running the gap fill. That was a very quick walk, AZS. You're looking for 70.71. Remember, there was a seller here before, right? They're going to be there again. And if they're not there, they'll be at 72. Did we clean them out? Do they see buyers? Will they let it lift? Come on, go 72. There we go. Beautiful. So we took it down to 67 to clean it out. Now let's see if we can stay in the overnight range. Nice work, Dan. Nice work. Right? If we stay in the overnight range, the next target is the close, 74 quarter. Right? We lost that 71 seller. Right? Why? Because they saw buyers, so they're going to raise price. They're not idiots. They want to make as much as they can. Beautiful. Can we get over 74 and a quarter? Told you the close was the next target. Almost there. Almost there. One tick. Right? But if you're long 70, I'd be selling here. You never need to give me an invitation to sell. Right? If you've noticed that by now, you should have noticed that you don't need to tell me twice to sell something. Be like, JJ, can I show you a bit sold? I won't even let you finish your sentence. I will sell to you before you even finish your sentence. JJ, I can pay. Sold. Sold, sold, sold. There's 74 quarter. Right? I never saw a bid I didn't like. Right? That's going to be on my gravestone. Just show me a bid, baby. I think I'm almost done the book. I just got to get somebody to edit it because I don't know how to write worth a damn. So we got one tick above the close. Now back down to test the overnight low. See how slow and choppy it is? It'd be nice if we had one of those late afternoon liquidations. The book is called Proper Villains. Back to the office with the view. See ya, Hank. Drive safe. Careful with all that propane. That's okay, AZS. Don't worry. After tomorrow, things will get back to the weird normal that we're used to. This is the Superfly weird normal, right? Now, what I'm concerned about is how many people have shorted the market under 74. Because if we run out of supply and everyone who's short under 74 goes to cover at the same time, that's not going to be good. This is really slow. Here we go. See, can we get a lift over the close? Oh, good. There's a seller at the close still. Check this out. Let me ask you if this helps you. These are 1 minute candles, right? Look at this liquidation, how quickly it was bought up under 66.70. Is that meaningful to you guys? That we were only underneath 66.70 for maybe 10 seconds? No? Yes? Okay. Just curious. Trying to figure out how you guys think so I can actually educate you guys without it being painful. Good stuff, Colin. Yeah. We found the bid. See how it's just kind of creeping higher? Look at those 1 minute candles and the lows are getting higher. Right? The buyers are following the sellers up. Exactly. Tap it down, find the bid, flip, go long. Good. There's still a seller. There's still something for sale here. That's good. Good grief, this is slow. Go test the overnight low, come underneath the overnight low. I'd love for us to fill the gap before I have to get off the session. There we go. Come on. Sell it down. Be normal, market. I'm looking for a gap fill. Yeah, I just want to see what's lurking underneath 62. Ah, an inside day is what it just, the simple way is it's just inside the previous day's range. It's real simple. So, for example, right, we had a look above and fail of yesterday, right? Which technically should target the low. But usually an inside day is when you have a day and you open and you trade inside the range. That's all it is. Real simple. You could tell from a TPO, you could tell from a candle. Just pull up a daily candle or a daily TPO, and if it's trading inside the range and of the previous day, it's an inside day. I like inside days because then usually you have decent rotations. Oh. Found some bids at 68 and a half. Well, folks, what can you do? Have a good one, Dan. We knew it was going to be kind of crappy today. Trade less, trade small, trade smart. Things will change tomorrow. Make sure you have money to trade with after the Fed. Okay? Thanks everyone for being with me. The delay, Renee, sorry, is off of YouTube. Thanks, everyone. Trade safe out there. We'll see you tomorrow. Be smart. Come visit us at thetradingsyndicate.org. Thank you all for being with me. I appreciate it. See you soon. Bye for now.